Alright everybody, welcome to the Meat Stew 232 channel. I am Meat Stew. Today we're going to start a series for complete beginners on 7 Days to Die. So we're just going to press options here. That'll take us to the settings menu. Now we're just going to be playing a local game here, so we're going to click on New Game. And you have a character select. This doesn't really have a whole lot to do with the gameplay. So for this one, we're going to go ahead and choose Jack here. We are going to make a local game, just for the purposes of this tutorial. Here you have Game World. Navezgane is the standard map that comes on every version of 7 Days to Die. It is different on each alpha. But for this one, we're just going to go ahead and do random gen. This will procedurally generate the entire map. It'll be a different type of map, depending on the name that you put in it. So we'll get to that in just a moment. We're going to go down to local game options and check some of these out. Standard options, it goes all the way from scavenger all the way up to insane. Now, if you are a complete beginner, we're going to go ahead and keep this on adventurer. Zombies run is set to default. That is walking during day and running at night. So you can also set it to never run or always run. We're going to leave that on default. We're going to leave enemy aggression at normal. The other setting here is feral. Feral means that they can sense you even through walls at night. We're just going to keep that on normal since this is a beginner tutorial. And your daylight length, you can take it down to 12 in-game hours. You can bring it all the way up to 18. Because this is a tutorial for beginners, we're going to put that at 18. And we're going to go back here. We're going to go down to modded options. There's only a couple of things here that we're going to change. So when you die in this game, your options to drop your inventory is everything. That's everything in your backpack and in your hotbar or your tool belt. You can drop the tool belt only. You can drop the backpack only. Or you can delete everything. I usually like to go with just drop the tool belt. That will be the items on your hotbar. Enemy memory we're going to leave at 60 seconds. Enemy spawning we will leave at medium, which is 100%. Block durability we will leave the same. Loot respawn time. This is the number of days for loot to respawn if there are no players around. We are going to bump that down to 5 days. Or you can disable it. We are going to leave that at 5 days. That means if you open a container in the world and take stuff out of it, it will take 5 in-game days for that container to respawn any loot. The loot abundance, we're going to bump that up to 200 for the purposes of this tutorial. Loot can be hard to come by in this game, just to say the least. Your airdrops, we will leave that at 24-hour cycle. That means once a day, a plane will come through and drop a supply chest, which you can go and find. And the 24-hour cycle, I usually like to leave this on 60 minutes. These are real-world minutes that determines how long each day will take in-game. For the purposes of this tutorial, we will put that on 2-hour days because I am going to be talking to you guys quite a bit. We will leave the airdrops marked, we will leave unowned mini bike icons on, and we will leave cheat mode off, but I do want to talk about this a little bit. Cheat mode is the creative mode, so if you turn this on, you'll have access to every block in the game, and it helps if you're just playing around with building a new type of base or something like that, but once you enable this, you cannot disable it on that particular save file. You would have to start a new save file in order to turn this off. Now, if you do turn this on so that you can get blocks and play around with different build styles, your ability to gain trophies on whichever system or achievements, if you're on Xbox, that will be disabled. So we're going to leave this off. And that is about it for the menus. So you can obviously restore defaults, your rule sets down here. These are just, basic preset options settings that you can change. So we're just going to leave that alone for now. And we will start a game. and it'll bring you up to the UI menu. That does not display on my videos right now. I need to get a capture card for that to work. I am going to name this map Tutorial. That is with a capital T. So the way these work is if you enter the same map seed that I have entered, which you will see right here, if you enter that same map seed, you will spawn into the same map that I'm using here. You can enter any name in this option and it'll give you a different map on random gen every time, depending on the name. But again, if you enter the name as I have entered it here, then you will be playing on the same map. We're gonna hit OK, and it will start loading us into the world. It brings you to this screen with little tips and tricks, and it will generate the world and it will spawn us into it. I am going to try to keep this video around 20 to 30 minutes, just so it's not too long for you guys. So you spawn into the world naked and afraid. It gives you this menu here, started, basics of survival. Dear friend, the wasteland can be an unforgiving place and you look like you could use some help. Enclosed is a short guide to help you survive. That's us. If you complete it, we just might make in a new citizen. Just might take in a new citizen, excuse me. The White River Settlement, it's real and it's safe. Good luck, Noah. We continue. It pops up this second menu and it talks about quest tracking. Basic survival is your active quest. The quest status is displayed on the objective tracker in the top right of the screen. For more information on quests, access your inventory and navigate to the quests menu. We will hit continue here, and you can see over in the top right, it says craft a bedroll. The first thing I like to do when I get into a new map, I'm going to go ahead and click R3 to sneak. It says I'm undetected. And you'll hit square to open your inventory. I'm going to sort out my inventory. So either by clicking X and dragging items into your inventory, you can bring them out of your tool belt, or you can click R3 and it auto drops it from either place. What I like to do is I will organize my tool belt like so. So I have access to a bandage and my torch, which also acts as a melee weapon. So for now, using the right and left bumpers, you can switch between items in your toolbar. For now, we're just going to go with nothing in our hands, and you start punching these pieces of grass here. All right, so again, you want to complete those quests up in the top right corner of the screen. We now have 20 plant fibers, so you'll hit square to open the menu, and you come over to the crafting menu. Your bedroll should be the first thing that pops up. So if you hit X on that, it'll bring up a description of that. It tells you how many resources you need to craft this particular item. We need 20 plant fibers, and we have 20 plant fibers. Now that it is selected, I will hit up on the D-pad, and it will show up in the hotbar down here. It takes about 20 seconds to craft. So once that is ready, we will drop it into our toolbar. And if you look over in the top right here, it says craft bedroll is your first quest. That turns green once it's made. I will drop this into the toolbar by pressing R3, and then we are going to place that with L2. Just got a trophy, good in the sack. That is placing your first bedroll. So, now the bedroll, just to explain this, acts as a respawn point. So when you die, you will come back to your bedroll. So if you hold square, it brings up this little wheel here, and these are all of your menus. So I'm going to check the map real quick. We're going to look at our coordinates. If you see right up here, there's a little crosshair, and then if you drag this cursor around the map, you can tell where you are. So we are at 380 north and roughly 1850 east. Now that is important. If you use the right stick, you can zoom in and out. Another thing I like to do right at the start is to find the center of the map. So we're going to come down south a little bit. That is 0 north. And we are going to go over to the west. So you have to hold X. You click and drag the map to move it around. And as you can see, none of this map is exposed to us. Once you travel somewhere, it will be revealed to you. So this is about as close to center as we're going to get. I'm going to hit triangle and I'm going to leave a quick waypoint. That is just to mark the center of the map here. I like to do that usually on any map that you load into. There is what is known as a hub city in the center. That will become important later on. I'm going to click and drag us back to our location here, and we're going to take care of these next quests here. It says craft a stone axe. We do need some plant fibers. Sometimes kind of hard to hit these things. The hitboxes are a little strange. And here we have a little tree. Now until you have an axe, you can punch these and it will give you wood in return. So we need 2 wood. I believe this is going to give us somewhere around 10. It gave us 12 wood, you can see down in the bottom right. We're going to go ahead and punch down this other tree too, because before this tutorial is over, we're going to need a lot of wood. I'm going to walk you guys through building a simple base that will get you through at least your first night. And the next thing we need is small stone. You can find them on the ground here. If you hit triangle, you will pick it up. And we're just going to kind of look around. We'll see if there's any other small stone for us to find. I don't see any right now. So we do just kind of want to walk around. We'll keep gathering plant fibers and... Oh, I just stepped on something. Stepped on a cactus. You saw that I took a little damage there. Yep, there he is. So if you're in the plains or the desert, you can run into cactus and they deal damage. So just be careful if you're walking around in the desert like that. Right now we are in the plains biome. I'll talk a little bit about that. If you look here on the map again, you see how it's kind of expanding as I walk through. There are 5 different biomes, I believe, in the console version. Right now we are in the plains. The other biomes include the forest, the desert, the wasteland, the snow biome. I think I'm leaving something out. Hey, there's a bird's nest here. You always want to keep an eye out for bird's nests, and I'll tell you why in a little bit, but we're going to go ahead and search this by pressing triangle, and it has 2 eggs for us. I'm a bit of a hoarder. I like to keep everything, but any amount of food that you can keep is going to be in your favor. So we'll just keep punching grass until we come across enough small stones to craft that axe. If we come across a boulder or something, then we might be able to gather some stone a little easier. So as I was talking about the biomes, different biomes have different things to offer. Once you get into mining and stuff, you'll be able to find different resources under the surface of the earth, depending on the biome you are in. There's a little piece of garbage here. We'll go ahead and search that. There's some glue. Like I said earlier, I am a hoarder. Hey, there's a big boulder up here. Let's go check that out. Here's another small stone here. We can pick that up pretty easily. There's a third one here. We are almost all the way to that axe. Now, until you have tools, you can punch anything and gather resources from it. So we're just going to punch this a whole bunch of times. I think it's about 10 punches per small stone. So we'll only have to punch this about 20 times, and then I'll show you what we're going to do after that. Well, maybe a little bit more. So you see in the top right, we have just gathered our 5th small stone, and we are going to sneak and craft this stone axe. So we open the menu with square, and you can see here the stone axe. So we will use the X button to bring that up, and then up on the D-pad to craft it. Now, because we don't have any resources to craft anymore, it goes into this grayed out area. These are things that you can't make until you find the resources for it. So we just got a trophy. It's called Because He's the Axeman. That is for crafting your first stone axe. I'll bring this into my menu here, and what we're gonna do with this axe is gather enough small stone to make another axe. And you can see it's going much faster than punching a boulder. It makes sense. Okay, our next quest is up in the top right. It wants us to craft some plant fiber clothing. We have already gathered enough plant fibers to complete this. We're going to open up the crafting menu with square, and we'll come over to the top where this t-shirt is, Click X on that and it brings up all of the clothes that you can craft. We are supposed to craft pants, shirt, hood, shoes, and gloves. Those are all listed here, so I'll highlight each of those and hit up on the D-pad. So gloves, hood, pants, shirt, and shoes. And we're going to keep chopping down this boulder here. Now if you look down in the toolbar, you can see that there's a little bar underneath the axe icon, and that bar is slowly decreasing. That means your tool or your weapon is losing durability. Once that bar gets all the way to 0, your tool will be broken and it will require repair. So we're just gonna hit this boulder with our axe until it is broken, and by that point we should have plenty of stone. We're going to make a different tool once that happens, and we are going to repair our axe. So we're just about there. And when it breaks, you will get this notification: this item needs repairs or is missing parts. So we're going to go ahead and open up this menu, take care of our next quest, which is wearing all of the clothes that we just crafted. So if you hit triangle on anything in your inventory, it will bring up a description of the item. This is where it shows you the durability left on that item and how much protection, if it's clothing or armor, what it does for your character. So we're going to go ahead and hit up on the D-pad to wear the shoes. Same with the shirt, pants, hood, and gloves. We have completed the 4th quest in our basic survival. And I want to show you guys something else. We're going to highlight the hammer to come back to basics. And I'm going to hit triangle on our broken stone axe. And this brings up this menu here: repair, scrap, or drop. So you can click on either one of these things, or you can just use the D-pad hotkeys that you see right there. And I'm going to repair this axe. You see here it says it tells you what you need to be able to repair this item: small stone. And if you see here, we have 50, so when I hit left on the D-pad, we use 1 small stone to repair that axe. We'll bring that back into our hotbar, and I'm going to show you guys one more thing here. I want a stone shovel. It's going to take 6 small stone, 3 plant fibers, and 3 wood. We do have all of those. We're going to go ahead and craft that. It takes about 7 seconds, and I'll explain why we need that in just a moment. You see our next quest here is craft a wooden club. We need 10 wood for that. And you'll see it here. Because we already have the pieces, you'll see it right here. If you use the right trigger, you can navigate left and right through these crafting menus. Sometimes that may show up on the second page, but we are going to highlight that with X and hit up on the D-pad once this is finished. Now it brings up our next quest. Now this brings me to my next point: toolbar organization. Because we have not used this torch very much, I'm just going to move that over here a little bit. I like my melee weapon to be right next to my first aid. So now I have first aid, a weapon, and I'm going to put some tools here. Now again, about the shovel, we're going to bring that down into the toolbar here. And the reason for this game's leveling system is built off of a learn by doing system. So as I mine this rock, I'm leveling my mining skill. So in order to talk about that, I'm going to bring you guys to the skills menu. Again, if you hold square, it'll bring you up to this wheel here, and you just highlight the menu that you want. We're going to go to skills, and we'll talk about this real quick. So some of these cost 10 skill points. Right now you can see over here we have 0 skill points available, but as you level up, you will gain skill points to be able to spend on this stuff. These perks will cost 10 points each, and then your individual skills you can buy 1 point at a time just to level those skills. I try to avoid doing that. Again, as we talked about, learn by doing. These will level up as you do those things. So for now, if you use the right stick, you can navigate through these menus, and you'll see we have construction tools. We have things like blunt weapons. Of course, those would be your clubs and your hammers. Mining tools. so on and so forth. So as I said, learn by doing. What we have right now is a stone axe. That will level our construction tools. What I want to do is level my mining tools, in which case you will need to use this shovel. So we are going to use this shovel. We'll mine some stone here. I might speed through this part of the video. You guys know how to hold the right trigger and mine stone, so... Alright, we have gone through that entire shovel. I'm going to open up the menu and repair that real quick. Left on the D-pad. And that'll drop it back into your backpack. We're just going to bring it back down into our toolbar. Not sure if you guys can hear that animal screaming in agony. There's a pig somewhere around. There he is. So I don't know if we're going to be able to get him, but if he runs over enough cactus, then he will die. The cactus deals damage to other animals as well. Now, like I said earlier, we are going to need a lot of wood, so we're just going to go ahead and use this axe. We will chop down any trees that we come across. Like I said, the goal for this first segment of a complete beginner's tutorial is to get you guys a base that you will be able to survive at the very least your first night in the world. And if we remember back to our settings, zombies are set to run during night. And nighttime starts at 10 p.m. If you look up top in the middle of the screen, you can see right now it is 10 a.m. The game spawns you in at 7 a.m. I'm going to try to run down this pig real quick and see if... Oh, there's a zombie over there. Let me switch to my club. I don't think we're going to be able to take care of this pig right now, but if we can, that'll be very lucky for us. Alright, we got him. So, the first animal that you're able to kill, you want to go ahead and harvest him with your stone axe. And look at that, we uncovered a bird's nest there. So, by doing this with your stone axe, harvesting animals like this is going to give you animal hide, it will give you animal fat, and most importantly, it will give you raw meat. You see our construction skills leveled right there. We're going to go ahead and search this bird's nest. We got some feathers. If you look over in the right-hand corner... Oh, I hear a zombie. Yeah, they're out here. So if you look over in the top right-hand corner, it wants us to craft some arrows and a bow. I do not recommend fighting zombies early game. They can mess you up pretty easily. But if you're really careful, you should be able to get them. We're going to go ahead and search her. She didn't have anything for us. So we're going to sneak real quick, and we're going to craft this bow and arrow. We'll come into the crafting menu, highlight the bow with X, and then up on the D-pad we'll craft your bow. We're going to do a little bit more toolbar organization here. We'll bring the bow over there and bring the torch back one slot. The next thing we need to do is craft some arrows. You'll see those right up here at the top. If you highlight with X, I think we have enough stone and feather to make 18 arrows. It only wants us to make 2. We are going to need quite a few arrows, especially early game. So I'm just going to come over here, hit this fast forward button, and it'll make as many arrows as I have resources to build. I'll hit up on the D-pad. That's going to take 30 seconds roughly to make 18 arrows, but all we needed was 2 to complete that quest. Now this is very important. Once you have made your arrows, you want to highlight the bow, and you're going to hold circle and then up on the D-pad, and it will load those arrows into the bow. If you don't do that, you will end up trying to shoot your bow, and there will be nothing to fire out of it. Now, when we harvested that animal, it gave us some large bone, and this is important. We're going to go ahead and highlight that with triangle, and then you'll see up here it says equip, recipes, or drop. We're going to hit left on the D-pad for the recipes, and we're going to craft ourselves a bone shiv. It only takes 1 bow. We are going to head and make 2 of these because we have the bones to do it. Now you can see already I crafted 17 arrows, and now I'm crafting weapons at quality rating 16. So the more items you craft, the better quality rating your items will have. This is important because if you have a bunch of stone and feathers and you craft a bunch of arrows first, that improves your weaponsmithing skill, in turn giving you higher quality weapons. So that will be important later. A little side note here, if you click on this backpack in the upper left hand corner of your inventory, click that, it will sort your inventory like this. It's helpful if you've got a whole full inventory here. Now as far as the bone shiv goes, I'm going to bring that to my toolbar with R3, and we are going to get rid of the zombie remains by chopping it up. This also gives us bone, rotting flesh, and some more animal fat. You see there. Where's the rotting flesh? There. So again, anything you highlight, it'll tell you what it can do. I would not recommend eating rotting flesh. It does improve your fullness, but it is dehydrating and it will definitely give you food poisoning. 100% chance of food poisoning. It also lowers your stamina. So don't eat that. If you go highlight the raw meat, you'll see the fullness increases by about 14%, but it does give you a 40% chance of food poisoning if you eat it without cooking it. This also smells, so if it's in your backpack, the smell range is 20, but if it's on your tool belt, the smell range is 60. It also tells you how strongly it smells. This is important because when you're carrying raw meat like this, it will attract zombies. Now, moving forward, it wants us to craft some wood frames and place some wood frames. For now, I'm just going to continue harvesting some wood. I'm probably going to speed through this part of the video, and when I come back, we will have enough wood to craft our base for the first night. Alright, looks like we got a couple zombies on screen. I do believe we have enough wood for our first little base here. So we're just going to take care of these zombies real quick. Now, headshots do count. Let me talk about this menu thing here real quick. So again, if I click R3, it drags it to my backpack. If you click L3, it will move everything out of this inventory into the backpack like so, and it closes the container. We are going to get rid of this zombie corpse here. Now this is also leveling my blade skill. Another thing about this is that if you destroy these zombie remains... Oh, I hear another one. Where is he at? I don't see him. Anyway, if you destroy these zombie remains... Oh, he's over on that boulder there. Looks like he broke his leg on a cactus or something. Anyway, if you destroy the zombie remains, it just helps the game to not have to work as hard. If you always leave those around, eventually they will disappear, but it does cause the game have to need to work harder. Now, since we're here, I want to talk about these boulders real quick. We're going to mine these. These boulders are incredible because they give you not only stone, but they will give you raw iron, which is an important resource to have. And at the end, once you break it down completely, there's a chance that it will give you lead, coal, or nitrate, or all three. As I mentioned earlier, I am a bit of a hoarder, so I like to keep everything that I find. That is a difficult thing to accomplish in this game because there is limited inventory space. So if you notice in your inventory, there are 32 slots. And then in your tool belt, you have an extra 8. So a total of 40 different items that you can carry. Some of these items will stack on top of each other. Some items do not stack, so you will use one inventory slot per item of those types of items. Things like tools and weapons. Let me repair this shovel real quick. Things like tools and weapons, anything with a quality rating, they will not stack on top of each other. I don't think we're going to get this boulder before this guy gets over to us, but we are going to try. Now this guy's not a special zombie, he is the strongest normal zombie though. So we're just going to kind of move around this boulder. Oh, he's coming over the top. Alright. I'm going to try to hit him in the head. And because he is crawling, it is very easy for these guys to break your legs when they're crawling. And as you can see, I've hit him quite a few times in the head, and he is still coming for me. So, again, I would not recommend getting into fights with zombies, especially on day one, if you're a complete beginner. Oh, he got me. Took almost 10 points of health there. Let's see here. Alright, we'll search him. He has nothing, and we're going to go ahead and get rid of his remains, thereby removing the container from the world. The computer doesn't have to bother about rendering him anymore. And let's see, can we go finish this boulder? Yeah. I guess now is a good time to talk about our stamina and health bars. If you look in the bottom left of the screen, you can see a blue bar and a red bar. My blue bar is my stamina, the red bar is health. The blue bar is fully depleted at this point. Once that happens, you will not be able to sprint anywhere. So I walk at normal speed, and if I click L3, it lets me move faster. Once your stamina bar is depleted, you will not be able to sprint until you regenerate some of that stamina. If we take a look at this in terms of mining or chopping down trees, the higher your stamina bar, the more damage you do to a brick or a block. So that took 12 points out of this block. We were about 20 stamina. Now we're 40, it took another 14. Now as my stamina bar depletes while I mine this, the number of hit points that I take out of this block will also deplete. This also has to do with the durability remaining in your tool or weapon. So as your tool gets closer to breaking, you will also do less damage to any given block. That shovel's about to break. There we go. We are going to repair this. Oh, that's not it. Repair that. Now, if you were wondering why I am repairing tools instead of just crafting new ones, well, it's because I want to conserve my resources. It only takes 1 stone to repair a stone axe or a shovel, whereas it would take 5 or 6 stone to craft a new one, not to mention the wood and the plant fibers that you would use. Alright, we are going to leave that. It's about 1 p.m. Because this is a tutorial for complete beginners, I would like to get our base built. The first thing we're going to do is look for a nice level plot of ground. Oh, there's another house over there. We're pretty close to some houses. Now, obviously, a decent choice for your first night is just to find a house like that. There was one over in that direction as well. But because I want to show you guys how to build a simple base for your first night, just in case you can't find any houses to stay in, I'm gonna hunt around for a good place to put this. So I'll probably speed through this portion of video and then come back when we're ready to build. I want to show you guys this. This is a bear. There's a bear right there. He kind of looks like a boulder. It's one of my favorite games to play. Is it bear or is it boulder? That is definitely a bear, and you do not want to mess with those. Especially not on day one. You will die. Alright, well, it looks like we found ourselves a town. This is not an ideal place to build your first base. But here's what we're going to do. We're going to take care of this zombie here. And because the ground here is pretty flat, we're just going to go ahead and walk through a simple base build. Bow and arrow being useful here. And we got him pretty quickly. He has 2 sham sandwiches. Again, I'm a hoarder. Some people will eat sham sandwiches. We'll go over that in just a minute. I hear another zombie. I don't know where he is. That's alright. We'll go ahead and start building and we'll fight them off as they come to us. Now, as you get closer to towns, the ground will naturally kind of level off. Every town that I've been to in 7 days is on flat ground. If you see over in the top right hand corner, it wants us to start a base for our next quest. So we have definitely enough wood. We've got about 1,600 wood. That should be enough to get us through our first base. It wants us to craft wood frames, place wood frames, and upgrade wood frames. So let me click on basics here. If you cannot find your wood frames in basics, you can always go to building, and then here's all different types of blocks here, but you'll have to scroll over to the right to find them. So we're just going to use the basics menu. Wood frames should always be here. And because we're going to need a lot of these throughout early play, we're just going to go ahead and craft 100 right now. That'll take 2 minutes. It's going to require 500 wood. That's going to leave us with a little over 1,000 wood. We got a trophy, Handyman. I guess that's for crafting a certain number of items. Now, for your first base, what we're going to do here, we're just going to make a simple 5x5. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We got Alexander Bell. I think that might be the one for crafting items. And we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Alright, so that is our base here. Now, just to go ahead and knock out this quest, we're just going to go ahead and improve. If you use L2 on the controller, it will improve these blocks that you have just placed. Now, as you improve wood frames, there are 2 levels of strength that you can get. We're just going to go up 1 level for now, because we're trying to conserve resources, remember. It is about 2 p.m. So we're doing really good on time. I'm going to finish this first base build, and then I'll probably cut the video there, and we'll come back for segment 2 a little later. If you guys like what I'm doing, go ahead and click the like button. Oh, I'm not going to improve that one, actually. We're going to leave one side of this open so that I can put a door. Let's see. Speaking of doors, you can find this in the basics menu as well. We're going to make 1 secure wood door. We're going to make 1 secure storage chest. And those will just go in the inventory for now. We'll place them down in a little while. Now, in order to build this up, we're going to jump, place, jump, place, jump, place. We are going to go 4 high all the way around this 5x5 square. You only need 2 blocks of space to be able to walk in, which would mean that you need 3 blocks high. But I like a little bit of headroom left over in there, so just gonna place these blocks here. Now, we'll put these blocks back in here. As you can see, we have 38 left, but that's just the walls. You know what? Let's go ahead and do the ceiling here real quick. Just so we know exactly how many blocks we need. Alright. So for a simple 5x5 base, you will need 71 wood frames if you build it just like so. So I'm going to speed through this part of the video. We're just going to improve these blocks. Alright, all of our blocks are improved. The ground is a little uneven here, so I'm having to crouch to get through there, but I'll show you guys a way to fix that in just a little while. Next thing we're going to do is just place our door. Now, if you use right trigger, you can rotate your blocks. Now, if this green outline is facing out, that means the door is going to open out. I do prefer my doors to open outward, so we're going to place it right there. Now you can open that with triangle, close it. If you hold triangle, you can come over to this menu. You can either give it a key code or you can lock it. We're not going to do any of that. It really only matters if you're in a multiplayer scenario. But now that we've placed that block, it did kind of level out the ground so we can walk in freely. Now, important part for the torch. We're going to close the door. We're just going to go ahead and place this with L2 right next to the door. I'm going to get rid of the grass. Oh, well, I accidentally broke the torch. Good thing with the torches, though, it does bring it back to your inventory if you accidentally break it. But we are going to get rid of this grass here. I'll put that torch back up. There we go. Get rid of this here. Now, because our ground is not quite level, you can go ahead and place some frames. And cool thing about this is it is going to level out the earth for you. We'll probably do this in the area outside of the little hut. Boom. And you can just pick all these back up. Just like so. And what I do like to do in these first simple bases is just to put one of these frames in the corner. We are going to improve it one layer, like so. And our final quest, our 8th and final quest, is to craft a campfire. You can find this in the menu here, up on the D-pad. It only takes about 4 seconds to build. And we put that in the toolbar and you place it on top of this box here. So good, our basic survival quests are over. Now it brings up this menu, White River Citizen. Good job, Survivor. You have proved to be capable with much potential. We have marked your map with the nearest White River outpost location. There you will find a trader where you can buy and sell goods and trade stories with one of our friendly citizens. Welcome aboard, Noah. We'll continue there. And I'm going to put this storage chest. Again, you can rotate blocks, like so, with right trigger. And the things I like to do with these chests is place them sideways on the wall. That just saves us some floor space. Alright guys, that's going to do it for this first segment of the tutorial series. Thanks for watching the Meat Stew channel. If you like what you see here, go ahead and hit the like button, subscribe. There's also a Discord channel. You should be able to find a link to that in the description. And we will see you next time. Thanks for watching.